The storm above the shattered moon base had ended only minutes ago, but silence did not bring peace. The corridors were still filled with drifting smoke, broken lights flickering like dying fireflies. Liam, a young human medic from Earth, walked carefully through the wreckage. Every step echoed through the ruined outpost, reminding him how alone he was on this forgotten moon. His mission was simple: search for survivors after the diplomatic station collapsed during an unexpected attack. But as he walked deeper into the remains of the main hall, he felt a strange pull, like someone was silently calling for help. Then he saw her. A tall figure leaned against a half-fallen support beam in the far corner of the room. Her armor was unlike anything Liam had seen before: dark violet plates, marked with complex patterns, cracked like shattered crystal. Smoke curled around her, giving her the look of a fallen warrior carved from starlight. Her visor was broken down the center, revealing one glowing silver eye watching him with quiet intensity. She looked powerful and dangerously calm. For a moment, Liam froze. She wasn't human. She wasn't even a species he recognized from Alliance records. But she was bleeding, thick, shimmering blue blood dripping from a deep burn across her ribs. He stepped forward slowly. "I'm here to help," he said, raising both hands so she could see he carried no weapon. She didn't speak. She didn't move. She only blinked once, and something about that small motion told Liam she was holding herself upright with pure will. He knew that look. He had seen soldiers do the same when they were moments from collapsing. He approached her gently, staying where she could see his hands. "My name is Liam. I'm a medic." Still no reaction, but she didn't attack. She didn't warn him away. She simply watched him, her breathing shallow. Liam opened his emergency bag and took out a scanner. The machine beeped weakly, its battery fatting, but it gave him enough information. She was injured badly, and the wound was spreading through her bloodstream like spreading fire. "You've lost too much," Liam murmured. "You need help right now." He reached for her arm to guide her down to sit. When his hand touched her armor, she flinched, only slightly, but enough for him to notice. It wasn't fear. It was surprise, as if no one had touched her gently in a very long time. Once she lowered herself to the ground, Liam began cleaning the wound. The burn was deep, the skin around it scorched and cracked. She didn't make a sound, not even a breath of pain, but her fingers dug lightly into the broken floor as the disinfectant touched her injury. "You're tough," Liam said softly, "too tough for your own good." Her silver eyes shifted toward him, studying his face as if trying to understand why a stranger would bother saving her. He didn't know who she was. He didn't know how dangerous she could be. But he also didn't care. She was hurt, and that was enough. "You're lucky I found you," Liam continued, wrapping a bandage around her ribs with careful hands. "If this infection reached your lung, you wouldn't have survived another hour." Still no answer. But as he worked, he noticed something strange. She seemed calmer now, her breathing slower, her shoulders less tense. Not relaxed, but trusting, or at least trying to trust. He offered her a small canteen. "Drink, it'll help." She stared at the water for a moment before taking it. Her hands trembled, though she tried to hide it. Liam couldn't shake the feeling that she wasn't just a soldier or a traveler. The way she carried herself, the way she watched him, the quiet weight in her eyes, she was someone important, someone dangerous, someone carrying secrets far larger than this ruined base. And whatever those secrets were, Liam had just stepped straight into them, without knowing that his simple act of kindness was about to shake the entire galaxy. The alien woman sipped the water slowly, her silver eye never leaving Liam's face. The faint glow in her iris seemed to shift with her thoughts, like a storm moving beneath calm clouds. Liam sat beside her on the broken floor, unsure whether to speak or stay silent. Every instinct told him she was more than she appeared, but he had no idea how far that truth stretched. "You have strange courage," she finally said, her voice low but steady. "You do not fear me, and yet you are not weak." Liam paused, cleaning the bandage with careful hands. Fear isn't always useful, he said, and strength doesn't mean hurting others, not when they need help. Her lips tightened slightly, as if she had never considered that perspective. Most of the beings she encountered either bowed in terror or tried to challenge her authority. Liam did neither. He just treated her as a person, wounded and struggling to survive. She tilted her head, studying him as he worked. "You know nothing about who I am," she said softly, "yet you risk your own life to care for me. Why?" Liam didn't look up. He finished securing a bandage around her arm and checked her vitals with the scanner. "Because someone needs to," he said simply. "Someone should care, even if it's just me." The woman was silent for a long moment. Then she shifted, letting him examine her other wounds. Each motion was deliberate, calculated, and yet filled with fragility. Liam noticed scars beneath the broken armor, old burns and healed slashes, hints of battles he could only imagine. Every mark told a story of survival, of facing impossible odds. And yet here she was, letting a human touch her, trust her with her pain. "You have patience," she observed quietly. "Not many would stay when faced with someone like me." "Patience is easier than regret," Liam said. "I don't want to regret leaving you behind." For a moment, the alien's gaze softened. The tension in her shoulders eased just slightly. She had seen countless battles, commanded fleets, destroyed enemies, but never had she felt the quiet attention of someone willing to care without expectation. The realization unsettled her more than she cared to admit. "I could take care of myself," she said finally. "I have survived worse than this countless times. Why would I need your help now?" "You don't always have to fight alone," Liam answered. "Even the strongest need someone at their side sometimes." The words hung in the air. Her glowing eye blinked once, and for a fleeting second Liam thought he saw a flicker of vulnerability. Then she straightened slightly, hiding it behind a calm facade. She wasn't used to weakness being met with compassion. Most had exploited it. Most had feared it. A sudden rumble shook the floor, sending small debris falling from the ceiling. Liam tensed. "Did you hear that?" he asked. She nodded, listening. "They are coming," she said quietly. Her voice did not tremble, though a shadow passed through her eyes. "Those who want me dead will not wait for me to heal." Liam's heart pounded. "We need to move," he said. "There's a tunnel through the lower hangar. You can hide there until it's safe." The alien woman tilted her head toward him, curiosity mixing with caution. "And you," she asked, "will you come?" He hesitated, knowing the risk. Every instinct screamed that he should run, leave her, save himself, but he couldn't. "Yes," he said, "I'm not leaving you." She studied him in silence, her expression unreadable. Then she nodded slightly. "Very well. But know this, human, I am not like any being you have encountered. You do not know what you face." "I only know what I see," Liam said. "Right now I see someone hurt and alone. That's enough." The alien blinked slowly, her glowing iris reflecting the flickering light around them. Perhaps she had never heard such simple honesty before. Perhaps it was rare to find a being who could face her without fear or expectation. And for the first time in many cycles, she let herself lean just slightly against another being, not out of weakness, but out of trust. Liam reached for her hand to guide her toward the tunnel. She did not resist. Together, they moved through the ruined hall, step by careful step, bound not by orders or ranks, but by a quiet, fragile understanding. No one spoke again, but in that silence, something powerful began to grow, a trust that neither fully understood, yet both would carry into the storm waiting outside. The lower hangar was darker than Liam expected. Broken panels of metal jutted from the walls and stray wires sparked faintly, filling the room with soft, eerie light. The smell of burnt circuits and ozone hung in the air. Liam led the alien woman carefully, her movements slow but deliberate. Each step seemed measured, almost ritualistic, as if she had trained herself to move precisely, even while wounded. "You don't speak much," Liam said softly, glancing at her side where the bandage had darkened with seepage. Do you want to rest?" "I am listening," she replied. Her voice was calm, almost detached, but it carried weight he could feel pressing against his chest. "Rest is temporary. The world does not wait for the injured." He nodded, unsure how to respond. He had learned long ago that arguing with someone in shock rarely helped. Instead, he found a quiet corner where the alien could sit without risking further injury. He gently eased her down onto a pile of soft insulation debris, careful not to strain her arm or side. She remained still, surveying the hangar as though she expected enemies to drop from the ceiling at any moment. Liam unpacked the rest of his emergency supplies, working to make her comfortable. "You're stronger than I am," he said, almost to himself. "Stronger than anyone I've met." She tilted her head, a hint of curiosity showing. "Do you see strength as something admirable human?" she asked. "I don't know," Liam admitted. "I admire people who survive, who keep moving even when the odds are impossible. That's strength to me." Her glowing eye softened in the dim light. "Survival, yes, many survive without care, few survive with honor." She paused. "You have given me both." Liam felt a strange warmth at her words. He hadn't expected gratitude. He hadn't expected acknowledgement. Most of the time, people just accepted help without thought. But she saw him. She saw what he did and understood it in a way few beings could. A sudden vibration ran through the floor. Liam froze, his heart jumped. "They're close," he whispered. The alien woman's body tensed, but not in fear. In the dim light, Liam could see her muscles coiling, ready to spring despite her injuries. "They come," she said softly. "They believe weakness is all I possess. They are wrong." Liam swallowed. "We need a plan," he said. "There's a narrow maintenance tunnel behind that stack of crates. If we can get through it, we can stay out of sight." She studied him with that intense silver gaze. "You would risk yourself further to save me?" she asked. "I'm already here," Liam replied simply. "I'm not leaving." She said nothing, only observed him as he moved to clear the debris. Liam noticed something remarkable. Even wounded, she exuded authority, as if the air around her bent to her will. He could feel it without understanding it, a quiet power that made him instinctively cautious, yet oddly safe. Finally, Liam cleared a path. "Come on," he said. "Step carefully." She rose slowly, testing her balance. Liam supported her arm, careful not to touch the injured side. She allowed it, but her silver eye never left him, as if weighing his intentions. There was something in that gaze, a mixture of skepticism and faint trust, that made his heart race. Few beings ever looked at him that way. As they entered the narrow tunnel, Liam realized the alien woman's breathing had changed. It was less labored, steadier. Her presence, though quiet, was enormous. Even as a patient needing care, she emanated an energy that demanded recognition. He couldn't understand it fully, but he felt it in every step, every breath. For the first time, Liam wondered what it would mean to stand beside such a being, not as a rescuer, but as an equal. Not as a medic, but as someone who had seen the true weight of the galaxy's power and still chose to act with kindness. The tunnel stretched ahead, dark and uncertain. The hum of approaching engines grew louder, echoing off the walls. Liam gripped the alien's arm gently, ready to guide her into hiding. She didn't resist. She simply walked beside him, trusting yet unyielding. And in that quiet, fragile journey through darkness, Liam realized something profound. Sometimes the smallest acts of care could change the course of the strongest lives. Even the most powerful warriors, those who shaped galaxies, could be touched quietly by humanity. The tunnel ended at a service chamber, dimly lit by flickering emergency lights. Liam helped the alien woman settle against a stack of supply crates. Her armor was still cracked, blood dried in places he hadn't noticed before. She didn't complain. She simply adjusted her posture, one hand pressed lightly to her side, her silver eyes scanning the darkness as if listening to every vibration. "They're close," Liam whispered. "I can hear their engines through the hull." "They expect me to collapse," she said softly, almost to herself. They believe strength is gone when flesh is wounded. She paused, her glowing eye turning toward him. But strength is not only in the body, human. It is in the will. Liam nodded, trying to catch his breath. I've seen that will, but even the strongest deserve a moment to heal. She tilted her head. You speak strangely of strength. Most fear it, most run, most try to dominate or destroy what they cannot control. She watched him, curious. Yet you are here. You do not fear, you do not run. Because fear doesn't help, Liam said simply. And running doesn't save anyone, not really. The alien woman seemed surprised. Few beings had ever offered words so calm in her presence. She studied him, her eye reflecting both caution and something new, perhaps respect, perhaps disbelief. Liam didn't know, but he continued to clean the smaller abrasions on her arms, careful to be gentle. Every touch was measured, intentional. He didn't rush, and for the first time in cycles, she didn't resist. A sudden metallic scrape echoed from the main tunnel. Liam froze and the woman's body stiffened. She had no weapon in hand, but the aura around her changed. Her presence seemed heavier, more pronounced, as if the air bent subtly to her will. Liam felt a shiver run down his spine. This was no ordinary soldier. They believe I am weak, she whispered. They will learn otherwise. The scrape grew louder. Figures in dark armor appeared at the far end of the tunnel. Liam counted 4 of them, their red sensor lights scanning the chamber. He instinctively stepped in front of the alien woman, though he had no weapons, only in his hand. One of the intruders raised a blaster. The hum of energy filled the chamber. Liam's heart raced. He felt helpless until he glanced at the alien woman. She did not flinch. Her silver eye glowed brighter, and even wounded, she straightened to her full height. The energy in the room shifted. Liam felt it pressing on him, not harming but commanding attention. The intruders paused, their stance uncertain. You see, she said quietly, almost a whisper, I am not the one who fears. Liam's hands shook slightly. You don't need to fight, not yet. They believe my strength is gone, she replied. But strength is not gone simply because the body falters. Her breathing was slow, deliberate, and steady, like a tide receding before it comes back in force. Watch, human. The intruders advanced, weapons ready. But as they approached, they faltered. Something in her presence froze them in place. They had trained for centuries, faced countless warriors, but they did not face her. They did not know that one figure, wounded, still carried the weight of empires in her aura. Liam realized in awe that this was the reason she had survived every battle, because even when she appeared weak, her presence alone could topple armies. Step back, she said, her voice low but commanding. The words were simple, but the effect was monumental. The intruders glanced at one another, hesitation clear in their movements. Liam couldn't comprehend it fully. He had dressed her wounds. He had offered water and care. And yet now he realized that even without a weapon, she was more dangerous than anyone he had ever seen. Her power was not only in her skill, but in the sheer certainty of her will. The intruders froze, unsure, before retreating slowly, the fear of her aura outweighing their mission. Liam exhaled, relief flooding him. The alien woman remained still, her eye dimming slightly as if conserving energy, but she allowed herself a small, almost imperceptible nod toward him. You see, human, she said softly, even the most feared warriors rely on the courage of others. You have given me courage when I thought it lost. Liam swallowed, realizing for the first time that his simple acts, bandaging wounds, offering water, staying calm, had done more than save her life. They had strengthened her spirit, reminding even the galaxy's most powerful warrior that even in weakness there is hope. And for the first time she seemed almost human. The alien woman sat quietly in the corner of the service chamber, her armor battered, yet somehow regal. Liam moved carefully, checking the remaining wounds he had not yet dressed. Each time he touched her, she flinched slightly, a subtle reminder that even warriors, no matter how powerful, could feel pain. But unlike most, she didn't pull away. She let him care for her, letting a stranger offer the comfort she rarely received. Your breathing is steadier now, Liam said softly, fastening a clean bandage around her shoulder. "You're healing better than I expected." "I survive because I must," she replied, her silver eye fixed on him. "But healing is rare for someone like me. Most leave me to my own devices. Few stay long enough to see the pieces repaired." Liam paused, studying her face beneath the broken visor. "I'm staying, not because of who you are, but because someone should." He hesitated, then added quietly, "Because no one deserves to suffer alone." Her gaze softened, a flicker of vulnerability passing through her. She had commanded fleets, led armies, and toppled enemies, yet this human, so ordinary in appearance, had offered her something she had not felt in centuries: simple care without expectation. For a long moment, neither spoke. The hum of emergency lights filled the silence, mingling with distant echoes of the ruined base. Then the alien woman spoke again, her voice quieter this time, almost contemplative. "You remind me of my past, human, of those rare few who believed that even the most dangerous beings could be treated as people, not tools or weapons." Liam blinked, unsure how to respond. I didn't know." "Few ever do," she murmured. "And yet you care, that is remarkable." He smiled faintly, adjusting another bandage. "Care isn't remarkable, it's simple. But for someone who has carried the weight of the galaxy alone, maybe it feels like a miracle." She looked at him, truly looked, as if for the first time she was measuring him beyond the moment. "I have lived through countless battles, human. I have felt the galaxy's hatred and its fear. I have known solitude deeper than any void in space. And yet, you, a fragile being compared to me, have given me something armies never could." Liam felt his chest tighten. He hadn't realized that his small acts, bandaging, offering water, standing by her, had such profound effect. "I'm not special," he said softly. "I'm just human." The alien woman's silver eye narrowed slightly, a glint of amusement, or perhaps acknowledgement, shining through. "That is exactly why you are remarkable." Outside, the distant rumble of engines reminded them that danger had not vanished. But within the chamber, a fragile peace settled. Liam retrieved a small ration pack from his kit and offered it to her. She accepted it with quiet dignity, eating slowly, savoring the simple sustenance. "You eat cautiously," he observed. "Your body is not used to being weak." "It is unaccustomed," she admitted. "Yet necessary. Strength is preserved, not wasted, even in recovery." As she ate, Liam felt a strange sense of connection. He had rescued her, yes, but in return, she had allowed him into a world he could never fully comprehend. A world where power, honor, and responsibility weighed heavier than he could imagine, yet where compassion could still touch even the most invincible. Suddenly the chamber shook slightly. Liam's heart skipped a beat. "Another attack," he whispered. She shook her head. "Not yet, but soon. They will not rest until they have confirmed I am gone." Her voice carried the calm certainty of someone who had faced countless ambushes before. "Prepare yourself, human. When the time comes, you will witness the truth of my strength." Liam nodded, fear mingling with awe. He didn't fully understand what that strength would look like, but he trusted her, perhaps more than he had trusted anyone in his life. For now, however, they remained in silence. She ate. He cleaned wounds. The danger waited outside, and in that quiet chamber two beings, so different yet linked by circumstance and trust, found a moment of fragile peace, knowing that what they did now could shape what came next. And for the first time, Liam understood. Even the most powerful warrior in the galaxy could be human in need, and even a single human could awaken hope in one who had known only war, dawn, or what passed for dawn under the shattered ceiling of the moon base, cast faint, cold light through the cracks above. Liam sat beside the alien woman, watching her as she tested the movement of her limbs. The bandages he had carefully wrapped the night before had held, and the bleeding had stopped. Slowly, almost imperceptibly, she began to regain the poise of a warrior. The posture, the fluid control of every muscle, the quiet confidence that had made her so terrifying before. "You are stronger than you realize," Liam said softly, his voice hesitant. "Even after all this, your body still moves like you've never been defeated." She glanced at him, one silver eye narrowing slightly. "Strength is never about the body alone," she replied. "It is also about knowing when to endure, when to rise, and when to trust. You have taught me that in hours I could not have learned in decades of command." Liam felt a pang of humility. "I didn't teach you, I just helped where I could." She shook her head slightly, almost imperceptibly. "You gave me something far more valuable than treatment. You reminded me that there is kindness in the galaxy still, that even the smallest being can act with courage when it matters most." For a long moment, silence fell between them. Liam watched her as she flexed her fingers, testing strength, bending her shoulders. There was no rush, no frantic urgency, just a deliberate assessment of her own recovery. It was mesmerizing. He had never seen anyone move like this. Not soldiers, not leaders, not even the most disciplined warriors on Earth. Suddenly the chamber trembled. Liam froze, heart hammering. Outside the fractured walls, the faint hum of engines returned, louder this time, accompanied by the unmistakable thrum of weapons charging. "They are here," the alien woman said quietly, her voice calm, yet layered with authority. "And they believe I am still weak." Liam's hands clenched. "Do you need me to?" "No," she interrupted, lifting a hand. Her silver eye glowed faintly, and Liam felt a subtle vibration in the air, as if the room itself acknowledged her presence. "Watch carefully, human. This is why I survive." As the intruders entered the chamber, their confidence faltered. The same figures who had retreated before now hesitated at the doorway. Their sensors detected her presence, yet something intangible, an aura of power, of command, made them falter. Liam's breath caught. He had bandaged her, cared for her, and yet now he realized that even wounded, she had not lost a fraction of the authority that defined her across galaxies. With a smooth, fluid motion, she rose to her feet, the light catching her damaged armor and turning it into a shimmering, almost spectral display. The intruders' weapons wavered. They could not comprehend the force in front of them, not just the physical strength, but the calm, unyielding presence of someone who had already survived what they could not imagine. "You will not pass," she said softly, but every word carried weight, reverberating in the room and pressing against the intruders' wills. "I am not defeated. I have endured more than you can fathom." The enemies paused, then turned and fled, their retreat hastened by the silent command of a warrior who had lived countless lifetimes of conflict. Liam's eyes widened, awe gripping him. The woman who had sat quietly, drinking water, letting him tend her wounds, had become an unstoppable force once again. She turned to him, her silver eye glowing faintly softer now, exhaustion mingling with renewed strength. "Do you understand, human?" she asked. "Even in pain, even in weakness, the will to survive can shift the tides of battle." Liam swallowed, nodding. "I see it now, and I also see why you are the most powerful being in the galaxy." A faint smile touched her lips, fleeting and almost human. "You gave me more than healing. You gave me hope when I thought it lost. That is why I rise now, not only for myself but because you believed in me." For the first time, Liam understood the depth of their connection. Not just medic and patient, but two beings from vastly different worlds, linked by trust, courage, and the quiet power of empathy. Outside, the rumble of engines faded. The storm had passed for now. And within the quiet chamber, the human and the Empress stood together, ready for whatever challenges the galaxy would dare to send next. The moon base was quiet now. The battle had ended, at least for the moment. Liam helped the alien Empress stand fully, her movements fluid, controlled, yet still carrying the subtle reminder of her injuries. She towered over him, her silver eye soft but alert, her presence undeniable. Even in the wreckage around them, she seemed like the heart of the galaxy, commanding attention without a word. "You did not have to stay," she said quietly, watching him carefully. "Most would have fled long ago." "I didn't think about fleeing," Liam replied. I just, I wanted to make sure you survived." Her gaze softened, and for the first time she allowed a small smile to touch her features. "You are human, fragile, and yet, in your fragility, you showed a courage greater than many soldiers I have led into battle." Liam felt a warmth rise to his cheeks. He had never considered himself brave, just careful, just willing. But hearing it from someone who had faced the galaxy's deadliest foes made it feel real. "You healed me," she continued, her voice low, almost reverent. "Not just my wounds, but something far deeper. You reminded me that even the most powerful do not have to face the universe alone." "I didn't do much," Liam said, shaking his head. "I just acted." Her silver eye held his with an intensity that was both terrifying and comforting. "You acted where others would have feared. You saw me as more than a warrior, more than an empress. You saw me as someone who needed help. That is no small thing, human. That is everything." For a long moment the two of them stood in silence, listening to the faint hum of life in the base, the distant echoes of engines that had long since vanished. Outside, the stars hung cold and distant, but inside the shattered chamber there was warmth, an understanding that had grown quietly between them. "You have changed me," she said softly. "Not through force, not through command, but simply by being here, by caring, by being human." Liam swallowed, feeling the weight of her words. Maybe we all need someone to remind us that we're not alone," he said quietly. She studied him, her silver eye reflecting the dim light. "Perhaps, and perhaps it is rare that such reminders come at the right time, yet you came, and for that I am grateful." A low rumble shook the base, startling him. He instinctively moved closer to her, but she steadied him with a gentle, almost imperceptible touch on his shoulder. "Do not fear," she said. "The danger has passed for now. We have survived together, and I am whole again." Her words were simple, but they carried the full weight of centuries of experience, of battles fought and empires defended. Liam realized in that quiet moment that he had been part of something extraordinary, not just the survival of a warrior, but the rekindling of hope in someone who had seen the worst of the galaxy. "You are strong," he said softly, "not just in battle but in everything you are." "And you are stronger than you know," she replied, "because even the smallest hand can steady the greatest warrior. You reminded me of that, human. You reminded me that courage and kindness are forces far greater than the sharpest blade or the deadliest weapon." Liam looked at her, seeing the Empress, the warrior, the survivor, the most powerful being in the galaxy, standing tall, healed, radiant with quiet strength. And for the first time, he felt not small or fragile but important. "You saved me," she said, almost a whisper. "And in doing so, you became part of the story of this galaxy, one that will not be forgotten." He smiled faintly, feeling the gravity of her words. "I didn't save the galaxy," he said. "I just saved you." She studied him for a long moment, then nodded. "Perhaps that is enough. Perhaps it is the smallest acts that echo the loudest across the stars." The moonlight filtered through the broken ceiling, casting long, silver beams across the chamber. Liam and the Empress stood together, not as human and alien, not as healer and warrior, but as two beings who had touched each other's lives in ways neither would forget. And in that quiet, fragile peace, Liam understood something he would carry forever. Even the most powerful warrior could be human at heart, and even a single human could awaken strength, hope, and courage that could shape the course of the galaxy. The stars outside blinked silently, and for the first time in cycles, the Empress allowed herself to truly rest, not because the world had surrendered, but because she had been reminded that even in the darkest moments, trust, care, and connection could make all the difference.